everyone, my name is Melissa Diaz. This is the edited version of my Modern Satanism is a Joke video. If you want to click on the unedited version, click on the link in the description box below and it takes you to my unedited version, like my full reaction to it. In this video, I'll be reacting to 3 videos of modern day Satanism, and basically it's just me ranting for like, I don't know, for like 2 hours, but since this is the condensed video, this is me just preaching about some of the major points I had for modern day Satanism. So let's just jump into this. I'm gonna provide certain evidence to back up of what I'm saying. I might not find certain videos that I'm talking about, but you have to just take my word for it. Because I actually seen these videos that I will use as evidence, and these actually existed, and hopefully by my descriptions it could like recollect people's memories and like, oh, I know what she's talking about, it's this video, it's that video, so whatever. Yeah, just help me out a little bit, guys. I need your help. Okay, so this is a TEDx talk, so it's bullshit. It's basically bullshit. It's just like random ass people just talking about stupid shit, right? It's not like a good TED talk that talks about like ideas and understanding certain things and not like this bullshit, right? So yeah, here's my let's just jump into this bitch.
When you hear the word Satanism, what do you think of? Dark, brooding, gothy teens sacrificing their neighbors' cats out in the middle of the woods at night. Well, in reality, they're people like you and me who have been mistreated by the media and much larger organized religions. This is in due part to the Satanic Panic that swept the nation in the 80s, claiming that children's daycare services were really just abusing children to use them within satanic rituals. Many of the people convicted are currently serving life sentences for crimes they most likely didn't commit. Satanism is a religion found...
Alright, okay, there's a lot to unpack there, what she said. So, okay, let's start off with the Satanic Panic, okay. During the 80s, yeah, that was a huge fucking deal, which just making outrageous claims, right, about like, oh, sacrificing their children and like these daycares and all that shit. And a lot of innocent people went to jail and probably never got the justice they deserved. Maybe, yeah, I think further along, some of them did got justice, but then again, some of them not ended up getting the same justice as anyone else. But you have to understand that at one point in that period of Satanic Panic, something did happen in a daycare that led people to believe like this is a bigger picture, right? People are not going to automatically assume like, oh, the daycares, just you had to watch the daycares. No, there has to be an actual event that occurred, an actual real event that occurred that made this into a bigger thing. It's like the butterfly effect, right? So something at one point in that Satanic Panic, something occurred that was completely real, that children actually was getting hurt and there was getting sacrificed and stuff like that. And which led into this bigger phenomenon that happened, that innocent people got victimized and they were treated like shit because, you know, a certain group of people, of daycare people, were actually doing this shit, and people were panicking because Satan back then was such a big deal. People were afraid of it. They were afraid of Satanism, and they actually cared about the kids back then. So, you know, it led up to the panicking and hysteria of people, just like the witch hunt, right? Or like the witch trials and stuff like that. Who knows if there was an actual witch during the witch trials, right? But like, if you just feed on like these hysterias and you keep on like doing all this shit, right, feeding people information that isn't correct, of course it's going to end up like innocent people getting killed or being in jail, incarcerated, right, for stupid reasons. But you have to believe at a certain period there was an actual event that happened that led to this bigger picture. So you have That's my understanding of it. And there's a lot of evidence of like people coming out as like being in the satanic cult and sacrificing people. This is what I'm talking about, the YouTube video. I remember seeing this one YouTube video of a little girl talking about going to school and being forced to like slaughter animals and like killing kids of her age, and how she was details of how she saw like her dad killing people and stuff like that, and how she participated in that. She was a little kid and she was going into detail, like, you know, if you train your kid to like tell all of this, they cannot be like, they're very vague about it because they're kids, like they're dumb, but at the same time they're very intelligent, and they could describe like graphic details of if they actually witness something. They could go into depth and details about something they witness, unlike like training your kid into saying a certain thing, but they're super vague about it, because, and you can tell when the kid is being trained to say something, because obviously they're kids, right? They're not like, they're still developing, right? So when I watched this girl telling like her experience of like being in this cult in her school, or was it a church? I don't know. It was a school or a daycare. I don't know. I vaguely know. I don't remember the video, but it was a little girl talking about her father being in this cult, and I think it was her brother was there as well, and this little girl. And so like, you're kind of like degrading some of the people, some of the victims that were a part of these actual cults, right? These actual Satan worshippers that did killings, that sacrificed children, because that shit actually happens, believe it or not. And there's a lot of evidence of people actually sacrificing people and worshiping this crazy shit that is not even real in the beginning. So you're kind of belittling people that went through all of that, which is kind of to make your stupid religion sound good, right?
On the idea of loving and respecting yourself and others who deserve that love. Misconceptions, and is routinely ostracized by other religious groups due to the fact that the media seems to spread misconceptions, and Christianity also spreads those misconceptions.
And they have the right to spread those misconceptions, because throughout history there has to be good and bad, right? You know, like I said, actual people do believe in Satanism and sacrifices and stuff like that, and you're kind of belittling like the victims and like people that believe, because not all Christian people are like that. Believe it or not, some Christian people, some Catholic people are very nice, very friendly. They're very accepting. Of course, not all of them are like that, but some of them are. They're very forgiving. Like, if you worship Satan and you decided, oh, I want to believe in God now, like, help me cleanse my sins, they will try to lead you in that path. They're very accepting. As long as you confess your sins and try to cleanse those sins, they're very accepting people, believe it or not. And I think it was Jeffrey Dahmer that, yeah, he became a Christian when he was incarcerated. He did awful things, obviously, and there's no justifying it. But like, at the end of his lives, he admitted what he did was wrong, and there's no one to blame but himself. And he cleansed away his sins. He did all the baptizing shit, and he died, and he most likely went to heaven because he became a Christian based on their ideology.
Has absolutely nothing to really do with Satan. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. Everyone thinks, oh, you know, she's a Satanist. She worships the devil. Well, really, I'm worshiping the Hebrew root of the word Satan as adversary. I'm worshiping the idea of knowledge and enlightenment and pride.
Then why not be an individualist? Convert yourself into individualism. Like, this chick is so stupid. It's clearly she has not like read a lot of philosophies, not did a lot of research on religion and what beliefs and morals and understanding. She's not enlightened whatsoever, man. So basically what she's saying is she's worshiping, quote unquote, a word. A fucking word. It's like me worshiping candles or some shit because they cleanse your body because they smell good, and they make your room feel refreshed and free, and that's how I feel inside. I worship the word candle, and it makes me feel free, refreshed, cleansed. That's basically what she's saying. It's whole the idea of modern Satanism, bro. It's so dumb. It's so utterly dumb. That's the connotation, though. If you being a Satanist, it's like a bad thing automatically. When you say you're a Satanism, people are automatically gonna assume that you worship Satan, the actual evil being of the Bible, the beast, Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, Satan, whatever his fucking name is in the Bible. People are automatically gonna assume that you worship him and you believe in his ideology and his thoughts, and you're evil incarnate. If you really, they talk about, it's about being self-reliant, it's about love, it's about being enlightened, it's about being prideful. Okay, then be an individualism. Being an individualist means that you're self-reliant, you don't believe, or just be an atheist, because atheists just live their lives normally. They don't think about religion. They don't think about like philosophies or morals. They just live their life like any other day. And they're happy about it. And they want to find love. They want to find, they're self-reliant. They don't need like the belief system. They just live. That's what atheism is. And that's what individualism is. It's just like you not believing in anything and being self-reliant, living your life like it's nothing, like not a care in the world, right? And nihilism is another thing, because there is a belief and like the life is meaningless, and life is absurd, but that's another thing. I feel like nihilist is an extreme part of being an atheist or being an individualist. The whole Satanism, at this point, they're just mocking and just making fun of Christian people at this point, which is so distasteful.
We feed off of fear, and Satan is seen as the author of lies and promoter of evil. The majority of the groups actually promote the true and final separation of church and state and promote diversity. Yet it still begs the question of, why are we ostracizing them? What about them is so inherently evil? There was a collective audible gasp, immediate backlash. Everyone was like, oh, she worships the devil. Just because she's a bit, out there on the edgier side of life, of course, I just worship the devil immediately. My dad kind of thinks that as well, but, that's none of my business.
I'm so done. I'm only 3 minutes in this video, and it's already frustrating. It's a frustrating of people's stupid religion, right? And I'm not one to like make fun of someone's religion, but if this religion is just so out of touch, so stupid, it makes me frustrated. Why associate yourself with a belief that has negative connotations, that throughout history people feared the word Satan and Satanism, and just basically completely change the meaning and say, oh, it's okay, because it means being free about yourself. Let's just forget about the history of it. We're starting a new era. Satanism is now a good thing, and we're going to ignore all the negative connotations throughout history that happened. We're just going to forget that. You know what? It's Satanism. It's not even that. It's not. What are you talking about? Like, that is not what Satanism is. Like, get your facts straight. It's like, at that point, I hate the modern day, honestly. It's so infuriating. It just makes you look bad, honestly. It makes you fucking look bad, because you are not enlightened whatsoever, girl. You are not enlightened whatsoever. And you're still young. Obviously, you look young as fuck. So, you being on this TEDx and explaining your understanding of Satanism, clearly, it makes you look fucking ridiculous.
And how horrible of a person I am. I've heard stories from friends about how people had, said that, why is she able to do a talk on Satanism if you can't do one on Christianity? No issue with Satanism. There's never been an issue with Satanism. We're feeding off of what the media has to say, and the media.
You are totally belittling people that went through all of this shit just to make your ideologies fucking perfect, and that's disgusting. That's so fucking disgusting, honestly. Just because I'm a nihilist doesn't mean I don't have fucking compassion, right? I'm not like an out there nihilist, right? I do believe that life is absurd and there is no meaning to life. That's what I truly believe in. I don't believe the full extent of it. I know when people say nihilist, they imagine like someone with no emotions that are very attentive, very observant to the outside world, and they have no emotions and they just live off, basically lost in thought, coming to terms with it's fucking useless. What's the point, right? You basically given up, right? That what totally means, right? And there's certain nihilists that actually live their life like that. And that's what the ideal of a nihilist is. It's just being like laid back. There's no such thing as being depressed when you're a nihilist, right? It's just you being cool about being chilled, basically, and just lying there and just taking it. Living life, right? And just being one with nature. Truly the life of a nihilist. I don't completely live a life of a nihilist because I still have my emotions. I still have compassion. I still love things. I love my family. I still have compassion towards people. I may be negative. I know I could be fucking negative, and I know I could be fucking rude at times because, I'm just so tired of like people's bullshit, right? That's my nihilistic side coming out when I'm being rude or when I'm being like, oh, just shut the fuck up, right? Honestly, that's my nihilism side just coming in. It's just, shut up, and what you're saying it's pointless, and your belief is pointless because you're pointless, and the universe is pointless, so shut the fuck up, and just don't even talk, right? I'm not fully a nihilist, but I still believe of the ideal and the ideology of it, and the understanding of it. And I acknowledge the darker path of it, the negative connotation of being a nihilist. Because being a full-on nihilist is like you not giving a shit anymore, right? You basically given up, but you're also chill about it. You're accepting of it. You accepted the inevitable of death and stuff like that. And you accepting that is like the strongest thing anyone could ever have done. But I'm not fully there yet. Maybe one day I'll be like a full-on nihilist. But since I'm still young, I'm like, 21 years old. I'm still young. I'm still understanding things. And who knows? Maybe in the future my ideology will be completely change, right? Maybe I will be no longer a nihilist because I've been enlightened in the knowledge of like other beliefs, right? But for the time being, I am a nihilist, but I'm still a developing nihilist that needs further knowledge about it and what it truly means to be a nihilist, because I'm still a beginner of it. I'm still entering it. But this girl is like, she's talking in a way that she's fully aware of the world and she understands everything. And she looks fucking young as hell. And she's not accepting that she's a newbie. She's barely beginning in her life, right? She's on her edgy side, of course. She's in a phase. Because people go through phases. Like, we change. We change as humans. That's a part of our nature. We change a lot. And it's okay. It's okay to be in a certain phase right now. I could say I'm in a phase when I say I'm a nihilist. Like, Like, I'm clearly in a phase of being a nihilist, right? And coming in terms with that, it's good. But she talks like she is enlightened, that this is her world now. This is me further on. But humans are inconsistent. They change a lot. She's young, and I'm going really hard on her, but at the same time, just it's come on. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right?
Media, well, the media is getting their information from Christianity, since it's the most widely practiced religion. And I mean, there's nothing wrong. You believe what you want to believe. I'm not saying you shouldn't believe what you want. I personally don't really believe in anything, but that's just me, you know. We're letting this media, the media kind of fuel our life and determine what we're able and not able to do.
Yeah, she finally she said something fucking smart. That's true. The media contributes a lot of people's thoughts and ideas, and the media is corrupted. Obviously, it's corrupted, and like the brain dead sheep, they follow the media. Why believe in the fucking media? Honestly, it's just fucking ridiculous. She has a point there. She has a point. I'll give her that. I'll give her like a soft clap of that. Finally, you said something smart.
1968 film Rosemary's Baby. How many of you have seen it? Of elderly people, which are, you know, the quote-unquote Satanists, but really they just engage in a traumatizing rape scene that's, you know, disguised as the satanic ritual. Of course, that's actually not the ritual, and it sounds like something that came straight out of the Satanic Panic, which would have happened the movie took place more than 10 years.
The satanic, Satanism has been around since, the dawn of, like, the Middle Ages, right? Do you know that? Are you aware of that? Satanism did not begin, the way she said it, she's saying, like, Satanism began during the Satanic Panic. I'm like, no. When Christianity started to begin, so was Satanism starting to begin as well. Luciferianism is another thing. It's like basically saying they worship Lucifer, not the actual Satan, but Lucifer. That what God did to him was awful. Which, let's be honest, it was awful. And a lot of the stuff in the Bible, there's a lot of awful atrocities that God did in order to protect his world. You could justify it all you want, but you cannot, you have to admit that what he did was awful, right? The things he did to people and what people did to him as well. Like, humans hurt God, and in response, God had to hurt them in order for them to understand. But God is a flawed being. If you want to justify his behaviors, that's fine. Go ahead. Like, some of the things that he did can be justified, but most likely some of the stuff that God did in the Bible was very awful. That's another thing. Why not be a Luciferian? Believe in Luciferianism. It's so much better than being a Satanist, honestly. Because that being a Luciferianism is like you actually believe in, like, Lucifer's, because Lucifer was an angel. Lucifer's like teachings of being, like, not being confined by, like, a greater being, like being free. Lucifer did not want freedom. He wanted power. He wanted power over man. But people in that belief system believed that Lucifer wanted, like, free will. He wanted freedom. He wanted to be free. He didn't want to be confined by someone's order. And, like, being yourself and being self-reliant. Why not believe in Luciferianism? It's so much better than being called a Satanism, because Luciferianism never actually hurted people, or never, of course they do mock God, and they belittle God, and they belittle people, and that's not right at all. But at the same time, they're not hurting anyone, honestly. There's not a negative connotation with being a Luciferianism, or what, Luciferiist, or whatever. But there's a lot of negative things about being a Satanism. And I'm sorry to say this, but you kind of deserve the fucking hate. You kind of deserve to be ridiculed.
Before any allegations would have been made. Another famous scene to come out of Hollywood depicting Satanism is from the 1999 cult classic film Eyes Wide Shut by Stanley Kubrick.
Are you using movies as your evidence, your basics, your knowledge of it? You're fucking dumb.
I think because I'm on the topic of that, I should actually show you guys what a satanic ritual is and what it looks like. For this, will be consulting the Satanic Book of Rituals written by Anton LaVey, and I will be...
So this anti-LaVey, that's her fucking thing. Anton LaVey is another fucking dumbass. He wrote the Bible, the Satanic Bible, himself. Not like other scholars throughout history of Christianity, right? He wrote it his fuck himself. And he probably had proofreaders like Terminus. He's basically the Megatron. He started off with good intentions, but his cult became fucking awful at the end.
Satanic Baptism. So, yeah.
Satanic Baptism, she said. Oh, she's gonna reenact it. I thought she was gonna show a video of it. Well, is this a play or something? I thought they're gonna fucking reenact it. Okay.
Revealed as thee once began life, undraped and unashamed. Thou mayest breathe again the first breath, now as night winds freshen from the far reaches of Belial. This is our innate in the ceremony. The innate arises and would disrobe in this occasion, and sits in the chair provided, his feet supported by a footstool. Though this, the black flame of Satan.
Clearly this is basically a cult, right? It's not like a religion, because religion has like, there's a difference between religion and cult, and this is modern Satanism is not a religion, it's a cult. I wish I could tell you the difference between a religion and cult, but there is a difference, and what this is a cult. I know a cult, from my understanding, a cult is when two or more people basically make up shit, right? And that's what I know. Oh my god. I know the Bible like is basically what is that is like people making up shit. I don't know how to explain it, but like this is all bullshit. Honestly, someone just made something up, and just like I'm not even gonna fucking look at this shit. This is just her being. And it's fucking pathetic, honestly. Is this a ritual? This is you being baptized, quote unquote? 'Cause it's fucking ridiculous.
I place the amulet of Baphomet upon you, and there will stiff the pleasure and pain of you.
She's just like me. She's a stuttering mess, and I like her because of that. Stutterers for life, man. Pump it. Yeah. Like, I stutter a lot. I'm not making fun of the people who stutter. I want people to stutter more because I don't want to be alone in this world.
Thou art returned from exalted path action. Oh no.
Satan.
That's it.
You could tell that there's not a lot of people in that fucking TED Talk.